Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm your teacher, Simi Namir, and today I'm here with a new lecture. Hope everything goes well with you and your family. This is my lecture number 11 for grade 7, and your subject is geography. Your chapter number 3 is water resources, and we are already done with this chapter. And we have done few questions. Today we are going to do two long questions and some objective worksheets. Let me give you a glance of a chapter, the water resources. And we have learned in this chapter that about 70% of the earth's part is covered with water and only 30% is land. In this water, 97% of the water is seawater and only 3% is fresh water. If we take only fresh water, so 79% of the fresh water is stored in ice sheets, ice caps, and glaciers. 20% of it is stored in as groundwater, and only 1% is found on the surface of rivers, lakes, and streams. Then I told you that there are certain factors that can affect the supply of clean fresh water, and the first one was the precipitation. Precipitation means rainfall or anything that drops from the sky to the earth in a form of water, in a form of like ice. So it could be rainfall, hailing, or snowfall. So precipitation is not equally distributed throughout the world. That's why the supply of water varies in different areas. Then is climate change. Obviously, if the climate is changing, like if there's more heat or high temperature, obviously there will be more evaporation and ultimately more cloud formation with more rainfall. Then pollution can affect the supply of clean fresh water as with water pollution, with air pollution. Air pollution can lead to acid rain, which can ultimately contaminate the water in the rivers and the water bodies. Then in chain in the land of use, like with excessive deforestation, there is more runoff of water towards the river. There's more sediments and siltation in the rivers, and there is less evapotranspiration and more desertification. Then reasons for the rising demand for water. I have told you that with increasing population growth, we need more water to satisfy the needs of the people. Like there are domestic needs for bathing, cooking, washing, cleaning. We need water. So about 15% of the world's fresh water is used as domestic use. Then we learned about the agriculture, and I've told you about 69% of the world's fresh water is used for agriculture. As with increasing population, we need to grow more food. So for more cultivation, we need more water. And then again, the world is going towards the industrialization and urbanization. And for this industrial, after industrial revolution, obviously, the world is moving towards industrialization. And for industries, we need more water, like for cooling down machines, and for generation of hydropower or hydroelectricity. Then I've shared some of the ways that we can use to increase the water supply or to ensure the clean fresh water supply. And these were like management of the catchment areas or the drainage areas, so we can manage the areas there should not be any seepage or blockage of clean fresh water. Then is the desalination means to remove salt from the seawater, so we can then use, because we know that 97% of the water is seawater, so we can use even the ocean water, the sea water after desalination. And then water reclamation, which is to use the to reuse the water that is once used by some different methods. And then water conservation through education and technological advancement. So we have to educate people, and we have to use some of the technology to save water. So that was all about the chapter.
Thanks again for inviting me for a sleepover tonight, Peter.
I love sleepovers. Chris, you should always shut off the water when you're not using it.
But how will I brush my teeth without water?
All you need is just enough to get your toothbrush wet, like this.
Why do I need to do that? There's water everywhere. In oceans and lakes and streams and even when it rains.
Well, you're right, but not all that water is safe for us to drink. Here, imagine this. If you took all the water in the entire world and put it in one big pool, it would look like this.
See? I told you that's a lot of water.
It might look like a lot, but of all that water, only a tiny bit is safe for us to drink and use every day.
Oh, that's not very much at all.
No, it's not. That's why we have to be smart about how we use it.
Wow, you're right, Peter. I didn't think of that.
It's always smart to save water.
Where else can we save water?
Well, we can save water by taking a short shower instead of a bath, and by sweeping up dirt outside instead of using a hose. And I always tell my dad when I find a faucet that's dripping so he can fix it. Dripping faucets waste a lot of water.
Oh, I know! Like using a bucket to wash your dad's car instead of using a hose.
That's right.
And when I help my mom do laundry, we can make sure to always wash full loads instead of washing just a few things at a time.
Those are great ideas, Chris.
Wow, I had no idea there were so many ways to save water. You know, Peter, all this talk about water reminds me of a funny joke. What did the ocean say to the shore?
I don't know.
Nothing! It just waved!
That was a good one, Chris.
So here's your assignment, and we have to do two long questions and with an objective worksheet. And the question number 1 is explain the factors that can affect the supply of clean fresh water. And as I've told you in lecture that there are total 4 factors that can reduce the supply of clean fresh water. So the answer here is following are the factors that can affect the supply of clean fresh water. So the first one is precipitation. Precipitation is unevenly distributed throughout the world. Precipitation is unevenly distributed throughout the world. Few regions like tropical regions receive very high rainfall, while few regions receive very little rainfall like deserts. Few regions like tropical regions receive very high rainfall, while some regions or few regions receive very little rainfall like deserts. That's why water supply varies in different regions. Then the second factor is climate change. Give the heading of climate change. Climate change has a significant impact on water resources as there is a close connection between climate and the supply of water. Climate change has a significant impact on water resources as there is a close connection between climate and the supply of water. An increase in temperature means higher evaporation, hence increases precipitation. An increase in temperature means higher evaporation and hence increases precipitation. Overall, there should be an increase in water supply. Overall, there should be an increase in water supply. Then is the third factor is pollution, which can reduce the water supply. So third factor is pollution. Give heading of pollution and then write its details like water pollution reduces the supply of clean fresh water. Water pollution reduces the supply of clean fresh water. Air pollution will lead to contaminated rainwater. Air pollution will lead to contaminated rainwater such as acid rain. Power plants, factories, and mining activities further pollute the water with their discharge of waste. Power plants, factories, and mining activities further pollute the water with their discharge of waste. Then the fourth factor is change in the use of land. You have to give the heading of change in the use of land. When a forest cover is cleared, when a forest cover is cleared, the rainwater runs off rapidly into rivers and streams. The rainwater runs off rapidly into rivers and streams, increasing the water levels, causing floods. Increasing the water levels and causing floods. Loss of tree cover increases the amount of sediments in the water. Loss of tree cover increases the amount of sediment in the water. Deforestation will also decrease transpiration, resulting in less cloud formation and less rainfall in return. Deforestation will also decrease transpiration, resulting in less cloud formation and less rainfall in return. So that was your question number 1. And now let's do question number 2. So the question number 2 is explain the reasons for the rising demand for water. Why the demand of water is increasing. So there are some reasons. So you have to give the reasons and you have to explain the reasons. So the question number 2 is explain the reasons for the rising demand for water. And the answer is the reasons for the rising demand for water are number 1, you have to give the heading with population growth. Number 1, population growth. With about 6 billion people, the demand for water is increased for bathing, cooking, drinking, and washing. With about 6 billion people, the demand for water is increased for bathing, cooking, drinking, and washing. About 15% of the fresh water is used in households. About 15% of the fresh water is used in households. Then the second heading is agriculture. Second heading is agriculture, and with more people to feed, more land has to be farmed so that there is enough food to go around. With more people to feed, more land has to be farmed so that there is enough food to go around. More cultivation means more water is needed. More cultivation means more water is needed. 69% of total fresh water is used for agriculture worldwide. 69% of the total fresh water is used for agriculture worldwide. Now, the third reason is industrialization. Give the heading of industrialization. Water is needed in power plants and factories for cooling of engines and machinery. Water is needed in power plants and factories for cooling of engines and machinery. Water is also being used as a power resource in hydroelectric power plants. Water is also being used as a power resource in hydroelectric power plants. So these were the two questions, the two long questions. You have to give the headings for both the questions and then write the details in front of the headings. And please mark margin line. Must write today's date and day. And please maintain your index. So here is an assignment of objective worksheet, and the worksheet is attached on the classroom wall. So if you want to print the worksheet, so you can do it, and if you want to write it down in your notebook, you can. So here the worksheet is like you have to do three questions. The first question is about the water pollution. Suggest three ways in which the public can reduce water pollution. So you have to give three ways that we can prevent the water from pollution. So as you know, water pollution has very negative effects on public health. A lot of diseases result from drinking or being in contact with contaminated water, such as diarrhea, typhoid, dysentery, or skin infections. So we have to take some measures to control this water pollution. So you can give any three ways. It's up to you. Let me give you two three ways here, but it's up to you. You can give your own three ways. Like the first one is wastewater treatment. Like wastewater treatment consists of removing pollutants from wastewater through a physical, chemical, or biological processes. The more efficient these processes are, the cleaner the water becomes. And then maybe like green agriculture, which is globally like green agriculture, or we can say agriculture accounts for 70% of water resources. So it is essential to have climate friendly crops. This is called green agriculture. Climate friendly crops, this is efficient irrigation and that reduces the need for water and energy efficient food production. So it's up to you if you want to add this reason. And then it's the stormwater management. Stormwater management is the effort to reduce runoff of rainwater or melted snow into streets, lawns, and other sites, and the improvement of water quality. So then is air pollution has a direct impact on water contamination, as 25% of human induced carbon dioxide emissions are absorbed by oceans. So this pollution causes a rapid acidification of our oceans and threatens marine life. So we can prevent this from polluting the water, like preventing air pollution is the best way to prevent this from happening. Then is plastic waste reduction. Like 80% of plastic in our oceans is from land sources, and in order to reduce the amount of plastic entering our ocean, we need to both reduce our use of plastic globally and to improve plastic waste management. Like we have to dispose of it carefully. Then is a lot of reasons are here. You can give your own ways to reduce the level of water pollution in the water bodies. Then the second question in the worksheet is fill in the blanks with suitable answers. And here are eight blanks, eight statements with blanks. So let's do them. The first one is dash is a process in which trees release water into the atmosphere. Dash is a process in which trees release water into the atmosphere, and you know that this is transpiration. Okay, transpiration or even evapotranspiration. So this is transpiration. Transpiration is a process in which trees release water into the atmosphere. The second one is the seas and oceans hold about dash percent of water on earth. As you know that 70% of earth is covered with water, but here they are asking specifically about the seas and ocean. So the seas and ocean hold about 97% of fresh water on earth. The seas and oceans hold about 97% of fresh water on earth. Then is to ensure the supply of water, countries are investing in dash method in which salt is removed from the seawater. Now, I think you are getting to ensure the supply of water, countries are investing in desalination method. To ensure the supply of water, countries are investing in desalination method in which salt is removed from the seawater. Then next one is the growth of industries begin with the Industrial Revolution in Britain. The growth of industries begin with the Industrial Revolution in Britain. Then the next is desert regions receive very little dash. Obviously, rainfall. Desert region receive very little rainfall. Then the next one is dash is unevenly distributed throughout the world. So that is precipitation, mostly the rainfall. So precipitation is unevenly distributed throughout the world. Then the next one is dash means that the water can be purified to remove the solid materials, bacteria and other impurities to reuse the water. So what is the method? The answer here is water reclamation, or you can say reclaiming water. Water reclamation means, or reclaiming water means, that the water can be purified to remove the solid materials, bacteria, and other impurities to reuse the water. And then the next one is dash is an area where all the water, sediments, and dissolved minerals drain into a common outlet. So it gives us a kind of an impression of a kind of drainage. Like dash is an area where all the water, sediments, and dissolved minerals drain into a common outlet. So the answer here is the water catchment area is an area where all the water, sediments, and dissolved minerals drain into a common outlet. Then the last part of the worksheet is about the distribution of fresh water on Earth. So number one, dash percent of water on Earth is sea and ocean water. So 97% of water on Earth is sea and ocean water. Only dash percent of water on earth is fresh water. Only 3%, 3. Only 3% of water on earth is fresh water. Then is dash percent of water, fresh water is stored in ice sheets and glaciers. So the answer here is 79. 79% of the fresh water is stored in ice sheets and glaciers. Then is dash percent of fresh water is stored as groundwater. So 20% of fresh water is stored as groundwater. And the last one is only dash percent of fresh water is found on the surface in rivers, streams, and lakes. So obviously only 1% is left. So only 1% of fresh water is found on the surface in rivers, streams, and lakes. Thank you so much, dear students, for watching the video. And we are done with this chapter. We'll come again. We'll meet up again with another video with a new chapter. Till then, bye.